The question here, though, what is the worst storm that we've seen? Evie. Do you got one, Caleb? Because I gotta think now.
For me, well, that's a tough one to answer because I've seen a lot. This year, I'll just do one from this year. The worst one I've been in this year was probably honestly the worst one I have been in terms of storm damage. This goes back on March 14th. We had a conditional day for tornadoes that day, and we weren't really sure how the atmosphere. It was all about atmospheric recovery on that day. We weren't really sure. We saw hints in pieces of atmospheric ingredients coming together that could lead for a severe event, whether that's tornadoes, winds, hail. We knew there was potential for something, but we didn't really get a clear indication of what that something was until about 1 to 2 in the afternoon. And at that point in time, the morning clouds had went away, the sunshine came out, and this is early March, so it's really hard to get everything to come together that early in the season and hold together. Oftentimes you're lacking something, and usually that's moisture and instability. You're normally lacking those two components that early in the season. So that afternoon, after I got done mowing my lawn, I noticed that the air was not particularly dry and it was really humid. So I looked at mesoanalysis, and that's a tool that we use to look at atmospheric dynamics. What is going on and how's the atmosphere setting up? I looked at it at about 2 o'clock, and as soon as I looked at it, my attitude changed from uncertainty to this isn't good. Looking at data at that time, I saw that our moisture was there. Our wind shear was greater than predicted. Winds were backing more than normal, and that means we have increased vorticity at the surface. It's called streamwise vorticity, and that allows a lot of rolling motion at the low levels of the atmosphere. So that being picked up by thunderstorms allows them to rotate very quickly. So there's a lot of that, and then there's also a lot of instability. There's a lot of lift in the atmosphere, and after seeing all that come together, I got really unsettled, just because, one, my house was right on the boundary of where those storms are going to fire, and I knew that every storm that was going to get up had the potential to be a supercell. It had the potential for them to remain isolated, which is key for tornadogenesis and long-lived tornadoes. And after seeing that environment, I told my wife, I said, okay, it's going to be a late night. You're probably not going to see me very much tonight, but I'll keep tabs as to where I'm at. It's right around 5, 6 o'clock, the first storm fired and immediately started to rotate. And I intercepted a cell down near Muncie, Indiana, Marion, Indiana, and it looked okay on radar. It was still young in its stage. And as soon as it got towards the Indiana-Ohio line, it really started to reach its peak maturity. And at this point in time, there was a large wall cloud, and it was rapidly rotating. And the National Weather Service had this under a tornado warning, radar indicated at the time. And right when it reached Salina, it touched down for the first time. And first time that I knew of, anyway. It had touched down in Adams County, Indiana before that time, but I didn't see it touch down. And as I progressed with this storm running behind it, you could just see the base, this mesocyclone, just continually to enlarge itself. And it got to the point where it was just so large to where the whole atmosphere was spinning right in front of me. The whole cloud was just turning. And I remember being on Highway 29 on the way to St. Mary's, and a stovepipe was rain wrapped in front of me, and it crossed 29. I came across the debris.
Winds,
tornado on the ground, damage path right here. Took out a warehouse.
Yep.
Across the road right here. Tornado on the ground.
Yeah, wow.
Not seeing the tornado yet, but I knew there was one in the rain curtains in front of me on the ground based on the debris. And as I'm getting ready to pass a sheriff, you could see the silhouette of a beefy stovepipe hiding in the rain. there in front of me. And
Part of
I
the
actually
building.
see it. Ryan, I see it. There's a stovepipe in front of me. It's in the rain in front of the sheriff here.
at that point, I knew, all right, we had a mature tornado on the ground. And at this point in time, I believe it went PDS for the first time too, right around St. Mary's. And as I'm going around St. Mary's, I even had a satellite tornado briefly touch down.
Hey, look to the right.
Oh, funnel cloud.
Look at that funnel on the right.
We might have two on the ground because there's one on the ground in front of me on the left. We have twins.
Holy, we got twins here.
But there's a separate tornado outside of the parent tornado. So I had two on the ground at the same time, which is crazy. But where things got scary was the scale of the tornado after it had reformed just outside Wapakoneta. I was just north of Botkins, heading towards Lakeview, Ohio. And seeing this tornado on the ground in front of me, it was a black wall just in front of me. All I could see, it was massive. This tornado, I'm thinking, has to be at least a half-mile wide. And I think what made my heart stop the most was, one, you never like to see a debris ball on signature on radar. I knew the tornado had hit something. I just didn't know what it was. There's a lot of trees, farmhouses, fields, etc. But hearing radio chat behind the scenes come across and tell me, hey, Caleb, that tornado just happened to hit a trailer park.
Yeah. Boy. It looks like a touchdown right over a RV resort.
Oh no.
That's what I was afraid of. Glacier Hill Lakes RV Resort is where it first touched down.
I'm going to get south, let this backside hail core get out of the way, and I'm going to go back for search and rescue. I'm dropping the tornado for that.
Okay. Pushita Road and crossroad of Wapakoneta Freeburg Road. 171 and 120 is your intersection crossroad.
Yep, I'm dropping south. I'm going to let this go. I'm going to go back for search and rescue.
And my heart just dropped. At that point in time, you know, I'm the closest one there. The tornado, that data is no longer relevant to me anymore. I don't care about getting that data. I need to go to that trailer park because I know I'm going to be the first one on the scene. There's not enough time for EMTs to be there yet. And I remember showing up there just southeast of Wapakoneta, and I beat emergency personnel there by close to 10 minutes. And being there, my heart just dropped because I could see nothing but where trailers used to be. When I pulled up, the trees were shredded. There's concrete pads there left where trailers used to be. But as I'm walking around here trying to get a scale as to the severity of this event, okay, am I going to have a triage event? Am I going to have a mass casualty event? An older gentleman approached me, and he came from the only solid house foundation with a basement on that property, and he told me, he said, hey, we're okay. You know, we heard the warning, and everyone was in my basement. And I'm like, what do you mean everyone? And he said, everyone. I had 26 people in my basement. And I'm like, wow, are you serious? I said, yeah, I can show you where they came from and where they used to be. And he was telling me, yeah, this family here is okay. They were in my basement. And he's pointing at an empty concrete pad. I mean, there's nothing left. And so that was great news there. However, after we cleared that trailer park, I knew it was heading to Lakeview straight on. I knew it had to hit the town head on. And I know there's a lot of trailer parks and campgrounds there along Indian Lake. And I knew that it was a very bad and dire situation there. So when I got there, that's when things got tough. It turned into a triage event, you know, and that's when there are multiple injuries and you just have to mentally prepare yourself. You know, there's a chance you're going to see something that you don't want to see. But that's the realization of being a storm chaser. You run the risk of being, you just have to accept the fact you're going to be there first. How are you going to respond and what are you going to do? At that point in time, we went door to door clearing houses and making sure everyone was okay. And then after we finished that, I went downtown. There's a large piece of roofing debris that had blown onto the road. and that road was the main artery for EMTs going in and out of town. And so I knew that had to be a priority to get that off the road. So at that point in time, I blocked the road with a truck. Me and several residents, even a business owner downtown, we all worked together and we moved that roofing debris off the road and cleared it open for two-way traffic to allow those EMTs and necessity personnel and emergency personnel to get to where they needed to go. So that was probably the toughest one for me, just because although you see lots of storm damage, it never gets easier just because you know and you see the raw emotion of those that it affected. You know, when you get there, people don't have time to process what just happened to their home, their houses. You know, everyone is in shock. You know, I had people coming to me like in tears, just, have you seen my dog? Have you seen my dog? And you want to help them, but that dog is, you don't know where that dog is, you know, and it's a very humbling and very sobering moment when you're in those situations. But, and that's the ugly side of storm chasing too. I mean, it's not all tornadoes in an empty field. I mean, unfortunately they do hit things, and, but that probably has to be probably the worst storm I've been in just because of how it affected real people.